One of the beautiful things about our representative democracy is that in theory our legislature is a cross-section of our population. I believe I'm the only legislator that has an engineering degree, and I know I'm the only legislator that has ever operated a nuclear reactor. So I know a little bit about power generation and distribution. I got my degree from that wonderful institution in the North Country, in the town of Potsdam, which I'm proud is in my Senate district, Clarkson University. A few people have mentioned the delta of the cost of these buses. Just the bus costs alone, double or triple. 50,000 buses, that's $20 billion. All right, one of my schools, Hadley Luzerne, 23 school buses, so you're talking their delta for just replacing those 23 school buses is about $4.5 million. Well, they also told me this morning that the cost estimate to just run power is $3 million. So if you're looking at, and I got 48 school districts in my Senate district, so there are a lot of school districts. There are many school districts that have fewer than 23 buses, but they're going to be spending millions of dollars each just to bring infrastructure that, as has been pointed out, is not going to be there in the next 2 or 3 years. We're talking about basic economics. Economics 101, the most basic of economics concepts, supply and demand. If government mandates a demand that you're going to replace 50,000 school buses in the next 3 years, what do you think that by itself does to price? Has anyone asked the bus manufacturers, is it physically possible to build buses this fast? Now, I suspected that I was asked to talk here today, not because I'm an engineering genius, I am.
Of course it was.
But it's because I represent the North Country. I represent all of Clinton, all of Franklin, half of St. Lawrence County, all of Essex County, all of Warren County, and part of Washington County. Saranac Lake, in the heart of the Adirondacks, is routinely one of the coldest places in the lower 48 states. I looked up just a quick Google search today. What is the average temperature? Potsdam, Messina, Saranac Lake, Plattsburgh. Average high temperature in January, 25 degrees. That's the average high. Now we all know that we hit that high around the times that the school buses are going home, not when they're going out. In Messina, school superintendents told me just earlier this weekend, I was at a forum with a bunch of my school superintendents in Lake Placid, 70-mile round-trip bus routes. And that's Messina. Saranac Lake, geographically the largest school district in the state, Saranac Lake, 16 school buses average 100 miles per day on their route. My downstate colleagues, the solution to education costs is efficiency and consolidation in the North Country. So the average, at 70 degrees, the average bus range is 150 miles. It drops to about 85 to 90 miles when it's 20 degrees. Now, in most of my district, it is routinely in the single digits this time of year. What's going to happen to those buses with those kids? We've asked these questions. We've asked these questions this year in the budget hearings. We asked them last year. And what we get is a lot of hand-waving from a lot of non-engineers, a lot of people that are just throwing up smoke to cover for whatever their boss is mandating because it's good politics. These conferences, the Senate and Assembly Republican conferences, are rooted in common sense, math, affordability. We're asking these questions. I asked the question last year, and I asked it again very pointedly again this year of the Public Service Commission at the public hearing, at the budget hearing. What is the cost estimate to implement the CLCPA? They don't have one. Now, the Empire Center does their homework. They have a solid reputation. They've estimated that that's $300 billion. Well, we know that buses by themselves, just the buses, $20 billion. I'm going to say it's at least another $20 billion for running power, probably a lot more. And that's just talking about school buses. What about all the other mandates to get rid of residential non-electrical? We're easily talking about $300 billion. And as I think Assemblywoman Mary Beth Walsh pointed out, we do so many studies on so many other inane things in Albany. How is a $300 billion price tag not worthy of study? How is the safety of children all over the state, not just in the North Country, but all over the state, when that school bus battery doesn't work in January, or when they can't get to Albany to play in the NYSSMA concert that we're all going to be enjoying next month when they come here, because their school bus range is only 100 miles on a good day, and they got to drive 200 miles to get here. Who's asking these basic questions? My colleagues and I are at the budget hearings, but apparently no one in the administration, and definitely no one on the other side of the aisle, either understands that there's questions, cares that there's questions, or cares what the outcomes of these decisions are. These are ridiculous. From an engineer that's done a little bit of basic math and economics for you today, these are absolutely unachievable, unsustainable, and reckless mandates to put on. And if nothing else, you phase this in. You start it where it might make sense. Urban areas in New York City where it's not 10 degrees routinely, where they want this, and where their bus routes are only 2 or 3 miles. That's the place to start. And then when that works, as Senator O'Meara pointed out, then maybe technology is catching up, maybe industry's catching up, and our production capacity is catching up, and then you're not breaking the bank. You have to factor in all this other stuff, and I charge all of you in the media here that are here today, listen to what I said, go back and replay it, and then start asking my majority colleagues in the governor's office what the plan is and how, after all this and running CLCPA and all these mandates through, don't you have any solid numbers for the public and the taxpayer and the kids and the parents that have to worry about their kids on these buses?